Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Symbio with T3 Gaming, and I'm here again for another Star Wars Destiny match between myself on the right and T3's own Nathan Laterio on the left. This game took place in Chico, California at a small local meetup that we usually do once a week. I'm playing the Kanan Padawans deck that I've been playing a lot of. I'm really enjoying that deck. And Nathan is still working on playing Thrawnkar. He's the only guy in our local meta playing it. I'm really glad he is. I think it's a really interesting and cool deck, and I really wanted to see how my deck would fare against it. Neither of us are like super competitive players, so it's not like we do a lot of TTS, so I can't say we're like top-notch players, but we have been playing the game a lot and enjoying it. In this case, I'm playing Moisture Farm, he's playing Otogunga to heal his characters. I win initiative and decide that I don't want to give him any more money, and figure that way I'll get some shields. He is going to go first here. And on a Thrawnkar, in his Thrawnkar, he definitely plays Crime Lord, Prize Possession, and Detention Center. He can do both things, mill and do Crime Lord as his win condition. He goes ahead and activates Thrawnkar using Feint, which allows him to basically pick a card from my hand. He picks two, and clearly he's going to get rid of that Vibro Knife. Yeah, so that's a great pick against mono blue heroes, especially anybody playing two-cost cards. My deck actually has a lot of three-cost cards in it, so hopefully, as this game goes on, he will forget that I play a lot of three-cost cards. But he did get to see your hand, so because of the feint, he gets to reactivate, remove his dice, and do it again. So first turn, I go ahead and throw down no, I don't. I go ahead and throw out the force speed. Hoping he doesn't have a rend in his hand immediately, because getting that force speed is very helpful against removal. It also has a focus side, so getting it, I usually put it on Kanan first, since I tend to roll him out first so I can use his dice early. So he's going to use the Thrawn ability again and gets rid of Rey's saber, so that was smart. He did pick three. He looks like he rolled a shield and a disrupt on Thrawn. And I go ahead and play the training remote. I think the training remote is really good against removal, because it allows you to +1 anything, whether it's a focus or money, resource, damage, without it being easily mitigated by like isolation or that kind of thing. It still can be removed by electroshock, but a lot of times people aren't going to remove that plus. I roll out with Kanan. I get a focus and 2 blanks. He goes ahead and uses his 2 focus to turn Thrawn to a shield. Oh wait. He turns 1 focus to a 2 focus, and I was telling him that he can really resolve that. I don't think he realized he could do the as long as you have a die showing the same symbol, you can focus to a double focus and then resolve that double focus. So he does it to the Thrawn die showing 2 resources and a +2 on Unkar, so he's going to gain 4 resources here. All I have is a sound the alarm in my hand, which is terrible against a mill deck. I go and roll out the Padawan. You really need to get a lot of early damage out, and I'm learning that you really want to go for Unkar, just because there's Crime Lord, there's Electroshock, there's other yellow cards in the deck that are required, I think, to spot yellow. He goes in and resolves those 4 resources, so he has 5 resources showing. He's got a probe in his hand, so he's going to play that. And he's going to get rid of my last card, so I have no rerolls here. I do have a focus and that training remote, which rolls a +1. I got 2 damage on the table with a focus of +1, and I can't see what I got because, sorry about the glare, you guys. The table setup was not ideal. And as everybody knows already, Kanan is just great because you can resolve that focus to anything you want and then do that extra action. Which is it's just insanely good with force misdirection. So I go ahead and do the focus on the 2 damage. I think Nathan just passed. Oh no, he claimed. So I go ahead and resolve 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 damage against Thrawn. So he, yep. 5 damage against Thrawn. He goes, oh, it was 6 damage, and then he claimed and healed. So he was waiting for me to do the damage so that he could heal using Otogunga claim ability on the battlefield. We reset. It looks like in his hand he's got a buyout, so he's sitting on that buyout. He's already got 5 resources. I think he gets rid of a detention center. So I think when that's your win condition, you want to be able to build up resources. So you don't want to spend a lot of resources you don't have to. As a Thrawnkar player, I go ahead and pull up my cards. You can see I play quite a bit of shield cards, and I don't think I play Riposte in this, and that is what you really want to do if you have shields against a mill deck, is be able to do damage. Nathan goes first and goes and plays Houndstooth, which is a 2-cost vehicle, which helps generate resources and shields. It's very good in this deck. And on my end, I really need to be able to get early damage out as soon as possible, but I am scared about mitigation, so I go ahead and play the 4-speed again, which is a little slow. And of course, the amount of resources he's already built is scaring me. He goes ahead and plays... Let's see, what is he going to play? Okay, he plays Blackmail for 3. That's a very strong mill card. One thing to remember is that you can always pay a resource to remove the die once it's in the pool. I think some people forget that, and unless you actively read the card, you're not going to know that ability. So if it rolls at 3 discard and you have a resource, sometimes it's definitely good to get rid of it. I go and activate Kanan with a Disrupt, a 4-speed special, and a 2 melee on Kanan. So that's a good start for me. I like the 4-speed. The Disrupt is not going to be coming hand in because he's going to play the other 2 on his to get the interrogation droid out, which is another very good card in this deck to mill. So he's definitely building up his mid game, which is what Thrawnkar does. He could have held on to those resources to do the buyout and do a huge buyout, but maybe he was scared that I would be able to disrupt them or something. So I go ahead and roll the training. I get a +1 on the training revote, and I resolve that focus. The 4-speed, so that I could resolve the 2 damage, 3 damage. I go ahead and do 3, putting Thrawn at 8 damage there, or maybe it's 5 because he healed that one time. So he goes ahead and does Thrawn's ability. I think he picks a 1. I got an It Binds All Things, a defensive stance, and a Force Misdirection. If it were me, I would have gotten rid of the Force Misdirection, because it can quickly get rid of a bunch of his dice very quickly. If he has a focus or a resource showing, I don't have a lot of discard sides, so that's not going to help me so much. He gets rid of It Binds All Things, which is probably not that great of a play because maybe he was scared. I already have one in my deck, so maybe he thinks he can get another one out. He goes and activates, gets 2 resources and a shield on Thrawn. I know Nathan loves resources, and that's what he's going to be resolving a lot of. I don't think it's a great strategy to try to disrupt Thrawnkar unless you have really strong disrupt abilities. I activate Padawan with a focus and a blank. He goes and rolls out the Houndstooth. Looks like for 2 resource for a cost. So he's got quite a lot of resources showing. I go and activate the other Padawan. I really need some damage. That's what this deck does. I can't really see what I got there, unfortunately. Let's see if I can... Yeah. I'm not sure what I got there, but we'll see in a minute here. So he goes and activates the the interrogation droid, and allows him to pick a card, and if it's an event, he can discard it by removing that die. Otherwise, he can just leave it out there, and it allows him to see one of the die, with the cards in my hand. It's a really good... from Spirit of Rebellion, it's a great support that hasn't seen much play until Thrawnkar. So at this point, I think I'm just discarding to re-roll. I really need to get more damage out here. I must have some damage on that Padawan, otherwise I would have re-rolled it. So I think it's probably a 2. I do show 2 focus here, blank on the 4-speed. He doesn't have any mitigation. I know that he was going to put some more in this deck. Because I didn't have the Vibro Knife, he really should have shielded up more. I don't know if he does later here, does shield up, but if I were him, I would be shielding up, because all that I don't have a Vibro Knife, so all that damage that I could potentially do, so I go ahead and do this Kanan's Force. I use Kanan's dice to focus to a resource and play Force Misdirection to get rid of 2 of his dice. He goes ahead and gains the shield, so that's good. I'm glad to see that. But he only gains the 2 shields on Thrawn. He could have gained the extra shield on Thrawn, so he does get 3 shields. Is that 3 shields? I guess it is 3 shields on that blackmail. That's pretty awesome. So I think I'm just deciding here if I want to discard to reroll. And I'm checking what I've got. I could potentially get 4 damage here, which I'd like to get through those shields. But I think I should play for the mid game more, so I go ahead and play the It Binds All Things for 1, and then Nathan disrupts me, so I have no more money. I've got no cards, no way to re-roll here, so it's not looking good. He could get another shield using Thrawn to shield up Unkar, or he has no cards to discard. I go ahead and resolve the resource on the Padawan, and Nathan goes ahead and gets the shield on Unkar. I claim and can't heal anything, so I have no damage, and we'll reset here. So I'll be starting the round with 3 resources. I really want to try to get some weapons out, which I haven't been getting out because he's been discarding all of them. Usually the Padawans can get pretty good damage out. As you can see, I've got 8 damage on Thrawn, but he's shielded up, and I don't have the Vibro Knife. He hasn't been doing a huge amount of milling, and even in looking at his resources, he's been spending what he's got. So I'm not too afraid to buy out right now. I go ahead and first turn, play the Luke's lightsaber on the other Padawan. Reduce the cost by 1, so it's a 1 cost lightsaber with It Binds All Things. He's going to activate Thrawn. He's going to pick... I think he's going to pick 1. Yep, picking 1. I've got Reaping the Crystal. I've got another Force Misdirection, a Lightsaber, and a Concentrate. Concentrate's a huge, great card for mono blue. That was in the 2-player box. Allows you to turn a dice to any side and pay 1 to turn another die. He gets rid of that one. He activates Thrawn. And he gets a 2 resource and a 1 disrupt. Surprised he didn't get rid of the Force Misdirection, considering I got rid of his dice last time. But getting rid of Concentrate is probably better in terms of like mitigating my ability to do a lot of damage. So I roll out 1 Padawan with the Luke's lightsaber and get double blanks, which sucks. Nathan rolls out with the Houndstooth and gets a 3 shield for a resource. I think that's what it is. Sorry, it's a little hard for me to see the screen here. I activate Kanan. I get a disrupt, a force speed focus, and a resource on Kanan. So I got that force misdirection. So if he rolls out some resources, I can now, misdirect all of those dice. We'll see if that happens. He rolls out Blackmail, gets a 3 disrupt. Wow, that's a lot of disrupt. He gets a disrupt on Unkar and then a resource on Unkar. So I could force misdirect with the disrupts. That would remove 3 dice. I think I'm considering that. Or I could... So I do force misdirection on the disrupt, getting rid of 3 dice. So that was huge. Just getting rid of a lot of dice there. He is going to plut me with the 3 on the Houndstooth. That's another thing about the Houndstooth. That's what a lot of people use it for, just to do the plut, because it has so many good die sides. He gets the Reaping the Crystal, which is 0, whiffs it there. Mono blue heroes are not the best to be plutting because they don't usually have a lot of high cost cards, but I do have some 3s in there. So I go ahead and roll out the Padawan and get a focus and a 2 melee. So he's going to what is he doing? Oh, he's doing the droid interrogation droid. And it discards any event, so he goes ahead and does that. I think I have 1 card left, so it's really tricky because I don't really have a lot of rerolls, but I do have a focus, 2 focus showing, so that should get me what I need for damage here if he can't mitigate it. I thought he had it, he doesn't like you, but it looks like he doesn't. I roll out the training remote and get a blank. So I think I'm saving that card to reroll. I actually should have... And that's why I rolled it out, because I was trying to get more damage out in case I need it, or more dice on the table in case I needed a reroll. He goes in and resolves the resources, giving him 5, I think. Nope, just 4. guess that was just a 1 on the Uncar. I go ahead and discard the lightsaber to reroll. I'm basically going for damage. Oh my god, that is the most blanks I've seen. And that's 4 blanks and then a +1 on the remote training. And I don't have any way of re-rolling, so I'm basically going to be depending on those focus sides and hoping he doesn't have any mitigation, which looks like he doesn't. The max I can do is 7, probably 6, 7. Yeah. Well, if I focus 2 dice to 6 +1 on the training remote, so that'll be 7, which is enough to kill Thrawn. Oh man, he plays prized possession for 4 cost, and he takes the 2 damage Padawan die. So I still have the 2 focus, so I resolve the 2 focus. I can turn both of Kanan's sides to 2, but I go ahead and turn the Padawan to a 2, and then one of Kanan's to a 2, so I have 5 damage.
No, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Which is enough to kill Thrawn through the shields. So, prized possession it can be frustrating to play against, but you guys have to realize, you know, Thrawnkar isn't doing damage, so he's got to frustrate you in some ways. I mean, I'd say it's more frustrating playing against an aggro deck who's going to take out your, character round 1 than it is playing against Thrawnkar. I actually think it's fun to play because there's a lot of different ways to, expect to I guess there are many win conditions, and it makes you really think about how you play against it, which I think is fun and interesting. You have to play differently against a Thrawnkar deck than you would against an aggro deck, and it also makes you build your decks differently. So having that new mechanic or available in the game, or not new, but at least be fairly powerful, is good for the meta. I think it's good for the diversity of decks in Destiny. So he claimed he did heal 1. I think. Oh, I guess I didn't do enough damage. It was 9, 10. Yeah, because he had 3 shields. So he goes ahead and he activates, plays Feint. And I think he guessed 2 and he didn't get any. So the handcrafted light bow goes down for 1 because of the It Binds All Things on the Padawan. That is a legendary from Spirit of Rebellion. He activates his Houndstooth and gets a 3 resource for a cost. I activate Kanan. I get the 2 melee, a shield, another shield, and a focus. He plays He Doesn't Like You and removes a Thrawn Disrupt to get rid of my 2 damage on Kanan.
Oh, it's just one of my dice. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that one. So I need to do 2 damage to you? Yeah.
I mean, that would have killed Thrawn, so maybe that's, a smart play. At this point, you can see my deck isn't particularly thin, so he hasn't been doing a huge amount of milling at this. He's doing some mitigating, but I have been rolling terrible amounts of damage, and the thing that, Thrawnkar does is it gets rid of your cards, so if you don't have ways of re-rolling, you can't do it. I go ahead and focus using Kanan's ability to the special, doing 3 damage, which will kill Thrawn. So, but he does have a full-up Ankar with 1 shield, a blackmail, and a prized possession. So I'm missing a Padawan die at this point. I mean, it's essentially like the Padawan was defeated. Like against an aggro deck, I would have lost at least 1 character by now. He rolls out Thrawnkar, gets a +2 resource and a blank.
So you can just pay 1 to remove the die. You just blackmailed me, right? I did. Okay.
So
now I'm gonna roll this in since that was your action.
I think I pay 1. Oh, so he rolled out the 3 discard, and I pay 1 to remove the blackmail die.
After you roll the die.
So.
it can just give you a resource. I don't think that's an action.
So it's your turn.
So I still get.
And he gets a resource. Let me double check that. I don't play against blackmail that often. It's got it says after you roll this die, any opponent may give you one resource to remove the die. Okay, so that's pretty much what it does. I activate the other Padawan.
Or an event.
Remove one of your character dice to give another character.
He goes and does the interrogation droid. Draws caution, and he's trying to decide to get rid of it or not.
I can't. I'm gonna get rid of it so I get.
Yeah, he can get rid of it because it's an event, but he has to remove the interrogation droid die to do so.
You may remove.
So sometimes it's useful if you don't think it's that great of a card to get rid of, because I'm not going to use it. It doesn't help me that much. He can choose to just discard something that's more useful. So that's what he does. He saves the interrogation droid die on the table so that he can use the discard.
I'm gonna reroll this, or I'm gonna get rid of this to reroll on card.
He's going to discard to reroll here. He's probably looking for some more resources.
That didn't help me.
Pay 1 for 2.
He gets 2 resources for a cost on Houndstooth and a disrupt. I have no money, so that's pretty useless. I'm going to discard the raised lightsaber to re-roll and try to get some damage here. I mean, I could potentially get a lot of damage, but I have been rolling terribly. I roll the force speed, some resources off of Luke's lightsaber. He goes and resolves the discard and gets rid of defensive stance, which is also kind of useless in this. I have a lot of cards that are useless against this kind of deck, but very good against, an aggro deck.
I'm gonna go into force speed for 2.
So I take the force speed. I discard to re-roll. I do have 1 melee showing on the Padawan there. I re-roll. I get a +3 on Luke's lightsaber and a +1.
So second action is 5.
Second action is 5 damage. So Ankar will take 4 because of the shield. So I'm feeling a little better now. I might be able to get this out. I don't feel like he's milling me fast enough, but you never know. He's not building up. Oh, so he gets a lot of resources there.
And you only get 3? Not 4?
No, this was a +2.
Oh, okay.
So you got a +2 and a 2 for 1, so it's 4, paying 1.
All right, I'm gonna claim.
So we got 3. I'll go ahead and claim. So he's got 6 resources. It looks like I don't have that much left in my deck. I probably have 10 cards is my guess. He's got another interrogation droid in his hand. I think the tough thing to play as a Thrawnkar player, like how do you know when to save up for buyouts or when to continue playing other cards to help you, mill other ways. Buyout is from the deck, and then of course interrogation droid and other cards are going to help you mill out of hand, and then there are things that you need to be playing to mitigate damage, shield up, steal people's die, that kind of thing. So I mean, he only has 6 health left. I think he's deciding if he wants to buy out at this point. So the question is, should he try to re-roll to get some more money, because he could potentially get another card out, by that, or he can wait till the next round and do the buyout for even more. But I think and this is something that you guys can tell us, is I don't know if you're allowed to count your. I was telling him that you could potentially count the number of cards in the person's deck, but I don't think you can do that. He was saying you don't think you can do that. You're allowed to look at the discard pile, but I don't think you're allowed to look at the actual deck. So we were actually counting, but he can mill me out for 6. So
you have to kill him this turn.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that.
So you should do it next turn, right?
So yeah, I mean, I think that technically I'll have to look that up. I'll look that up and post back to the comments here about whether you can look and count how many cards are left in your opponent's deck. On the one hand, I think it's public information because, that kind of tells you how much it's just like you can see damage on a number of characters. You know how much damage and health they have left. So I think he goes ahead and, because we weren't 100% sure, he goes ahead and mills me for 6. So I think I have like 3 cards left in my deck.
I'm gonna go for straight.
So at this point, he really needs to mill fast. So I have 5 cards left total in my hand. So he needs to get through all 5 cards and survive 6 damage, which is going to be tough to do with the amount of potential damage I have on the board. He's got a, let's see, he does have a He Doesn't Like You and Electroshock, so he's got a good chance. I roll out the Padawan, and I get nothing on the Luke's lightsaber, which is really making me angry. He plays Friends in Low Places to get some cards out ASAP. Smart play. He's getting rid of Guard.
I mean, I'm gonna get milled out.
So which is useful, but I'm not gonna remove a damage side at this point. Just to get rid of some dice. At this point, I really need the most damage. So, not sure what else he could have gotten rid of. Maybe the. Do I have a Force Illusion? No, I have an Ancient Lightsaber. And I think I have a Caution in there, which is useless. Unless I was playing Riposte. I go ahead and play the Ancient Lightsaber to get some more damage on the table. Maximize my ability this round to kill Thrawnkar. He goes ahead and rolls out the Interrogation Droid and looking for an event. He knew I had a lot of events. He gets rid of a Distraction, another card from the 2-player set. I go ahead and activate Kanan, hoping to get a lot of damage this round. I get a special, 2 specials, a special on the Force Speed and also on the Light Bow, which is 3 damage, a Focus, and a Disrupt. So that's a lot of damage. I could do potentially 5 damage right there. He rolls out Thrawnkar, gets a bunch of Disrupts, 2 and a 1 Disrupt, and a 3 discard. So he can discard my whole hand at this point with Blackmail. I have no resources to remove that Blackmail die, so I'm trying to decide at this point. I should re-roll what I can. So I re-roll Luke's lightsaber and then the blanks. And I keep the special. I go and re-roll Force Speed because if I get a focus, I can focus the damage. I get a focus on the Force Speed, a 2 melee on Kanan, a blank on the Ancient Lightsaber, and I think a resource on the Luke's. So with 2 focus sides, I can definitely kill Thrawnkar now. So he's got to mitigate something. He's going to mitigate the special, which I don't think is enough because all I need is 6, so I can focus 2, getting 2 and 2. So that's what I do. Oh, I focus with a +3 on the Ancient Lightsaber and a 2 on. Oh no, I'm going for the +3. Oh, this was the really bad play. I don't know what I was doing. I should have focused to the +3 on Luke's, but instead I focused to the special, hoping that if he got rid of some. If he got rid of some, like if he had like a way of getting rid of melee damage, like a block or some parry like that, he couldn't get rid of all of it. But He Doesn't Like You. It gets rid of the other special. And if I had gotten the melee, I roll the melee anyway, and that'll be enough to kill Thrawnkar.
That was so lucky. Oh wait, I still have it.
But that was just pure luck because I didn't have enough to kill him without that. +3 on Luke's lightsaber. I was being stupid. I could have rolled out Training Remote, which I hadn't even rolled out yet, so I guess I possibly could have gotten the 6 anyway. But wow, yeah, he had a lot of mitigation that round, and I had to kill him, otherwise he would be, if he had rolled some shields, he would have lived. But the Blackmail die got discards anyway. So anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Hope you enjoyed that game. Let us know what you think in the comments section. And any plays you think we should have done differently, definitely let us know. We're always learning and really, really enjoying playing all these new cards from the Empire War set. I think Destiny is just really fun right now. And Legacies set was just announced, so we're going to try to do a video on that soon. All right, you guys, see you next time on T3 Gaming.